Welcome back, my friends. The news today is that Guyana's oil boom is changing the global energy landscape. Guyana is estimated to produce around 1.2 million barrels of crude oil a day by 2028, making it a significant player in the global oil supply. ExxonMobil Corp leads a consortium with U.S. company Hess and China's National Offshore Oil Corporation, approved to drill 35 new offshore wells. Guyana has become an attractive alternative for European refiners due to sanctions on Russian oil, capturing a larger share of the European market. What does this mean for consumers? What does this mean for energy markets? What does this mean for oil companies? What does it mean for the U.S. economy? And what does it mean for the future of the United States? But, before we get into all of that, please hit the like button and leave us a comment below. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. And, before we continue, a word from the sponsor of this video. Today's sponsor is ProWorldNet.com. ProWorldNet.com is a job website specifically dedicated to licensed professions. Doctors, including any type of specialty. Nurses, and that includes all grades of nurses. Lawyers, regardless of area of legal focus. Teachers and professors, from kindergarten through graduate school. As well as any kind of job that requires a government license or certification. And ProWorld.net also includes short-term gig-type jobs as well. So, be sure to check out ProWorldNet.com if you are looking for a job or an employee. Guyana is a diverse and fascinating country located on the northern coast of South America. Guyana is the only English-speaking country in South America. It is situated on the northeastern coast of the continent, bordered by Venezuela to the west, Brazil to the south, Suriname to the east, and the Atlantic Ocean to the north. Its location gives it a unique blend of Caribbean and South American cultural influences. Since the discovery of 11 billion barrels of proven oil reserves offshore in 2015, Guyana's oil industry has gone from strength to strength. The tiny Caribbean country has attracted billions in international investment in its energy sector, with billions more expected to follow, thanks to several successes. And recent legislation passed by Guyana's parliament is expected to encourage new production and ensure that the small country earns a significant share of its oil revenues in the coming decades. Guyana, with a population of around 800,000 people, is thought to be sitting on top of oil reserves with a value of more than $500 billion. Following significant investment in exploration and production activities over the last decade, it can expect to produce around 1.2 million barrels of crude a day by 2028, according to current estimations. This is a significant increase from the current production rate of 400,000 bpd from 2 vessels. That's equivalent to around 1.1% of the global supply, a contribution that was recently unthinkable in this previously untapped region. This figure means Guyana would be producing more oil per person than any country in the world. So far, ExxonMobil Corporation has been the biggest investor in Guyana's oil industry, dominating the exploration and drilling activities. In July, Guyana's Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, approved an ExxonMobil-led consortium to drill 35 new offshore exploration and appraisal wells. The consortium consists of Exxon, U.S. oil company Hess, and China's China National Offshore Oil Corporation. This allowed the consortium to drill wells within its 6.6 million acre Stabroek offshore block. The EPA deemed that the drilling could be conducted in accordance with good environmental practices, and in a manner that avoids, prevents and minimizes any adverse effects which could result from the activity. In June, the consortium entered into discussions with Guyana about the return of 20% of unexplored or undeveloped areas in the blocks, as per the 2016 production agreement. This includes parts of the Stabroek block and the Kayatur and Conhay blocks. However, Exxon stated that it plans to continue oil and gas drilling even in a reduced area. It expects to begin this drilling in the third quarter of this year and continue through to 2028. This follows several successful drilling operations in recent years. Exxon stated, the project is being developed to discover new and re-evaluate existing recoverable hydrocarbons from reservoirs in the Stabroek block, thereby enabling potential future development projects. In August, the consortium announced plans to spend $12.93 billion to develop their 6th offshore oil project in the South American country, with the hope of starting production operations at the Whiptail project in 2027. To date, the consortium's production activities have provided $2.8 billion in direct revenue to Guyana, as well as supported the creation of 4,400 jobs. The 6th project is much like the group's $12.7 billion 5th project, Waru, and is expected to provide an output of between 250,000 and 263,000 bpd. It expects to drill up to 72 wells commencing in 2024, continuing exploration through to 2030. The project could provide up to 540 jobs in the drilling and installation stages and between 100 and 180 during production activities, according to Exxon. In terms of core markets, this year, Guyana has had success in capturing a larger share of the European market. Vessel monitoring data showed that Guyana's crude exports to Europe in the first semester of the year increased to 215,000 bpd, equivalent to around 63% of the country's total exports. Last year, Europe accounted for around 50% of Guyana's crude exports. This rise in exports reflects the changing geopolitical structure of the global oil industry, with many European refiners looking for new crude suppliers following the sanctions introduced on Russian oil in 2022. The ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine has meant that many refiners have had to establish new partnerships in alternative oil markets, with Guyana's strong oil potential over the coming decades looking highly attractive for companies looking to change suppliers in the longer term. Apart from Europe, Guyana is also exporting to Asia, around 90,000 bpd, and Brazil, 22,000 bpd. Meanwhile, there have been no exports to U.S. Gulf Coast refiners so far in 2023. Guyana is seeing a major influx of money into its economy following the development of its oil and gas sector, with reported earnings from royalties and profits of $439 million in the second quarter of this year. By the end of June, the country's national oil fund reached a reported $1.72 billion. And Guyana hopes to raise this figure even further thanks to the passing of new oil legislation aimed at encouraging new production and increasing the country's share of oil revenues. As of September 2021, Guyana had a population of around 800,000 people. The population is ethnically diverse, with major ethnic groups including Indo-Guyanese, of East Indian descent, Afro-Guyanese, of African descent, Amerindians, and people of European and Chinese heritage. The official language of Guyana is English. However, due to its diverse population, various other languages and dialects are spoken, including Guyanese Creole, Hindi, Urdu, and various Amerindian languages. Guyana has a complex history, with indigenous peoples inhabiting the region for thousands of years. It was first colonized by the Dutch in the 17th century, then passed into British hands in the 19th century. It gained independence from the United Kingdom in 1966 and became a republic in 1970. Guyana's economy is based on agriculture, mining, and forestry. The country is known for its rich natural resources, including bauxite, gold, diamonds, and timber. In recent years, the discovery of significant offshore oil reserves has brought attention to the country's energy sector. Guyana is renowned for its stunning natural beauty, with lush rainforests, savannas, and abundant wildlife. The country is home to Kayatur Falls, one of the world's largest single-drop waterfalls, which is a popular tourist attraction. Guyana has a democratic system of government, and it has experienced periods of political stability and instability. The country has a president as its head of state and a national assembly as its legislative body. Guyana faces various challenges, including poverty, infrastructure development, environmental concerns related to deforestation and mining, and the management of its newfound oil wealth. Additionally, it has had border disputes with neighboring countries, particularly Venezuela. Last year, oil prices hit multi-decade highs shortly after Russia invaded Ukraine, prompting the Biden administration to urge U.S. producers and OPEC to ramp up production at a faster clip so as to rein in spiraling oil prices. However, Saudi Arabia and its allies responded by doing the exact opposite, cutting production when oil prices started plummeting. Predictably, the United States and Europe were irked by the cartel's defiance, with President Joe Biden's administration accusing Saudi Arabia of colluding with Russia and supporting its war in Ukraine. Well, President Biden can at least thank his lucky stars that the U.S. shale patch paid heed to his clarion call. U.S. crude oil output is up 9% year-over-year, blunting OPEC's efforts to keep supplies low in a bid to goose prices. There is little doubt the U.S. shale patch is largely responsible for keeping oil markets well supplied and oil prices low. Exxon CEO Darren Woods has revealed that Exxon is currently working on two specific areas to improve fracking. First off, the company is trying to frack more precisely along the well so that more oil-soaked rock gets drained. It's also looking for ways to keep the fracked cracks open longer so as to boost the flow of oil. Luckily, the U.S. shale patch won't have to wait for Exxon to perfect its new fracking technologies. There's already a proven technology for oil producers to return to existing wells and give them a second, high-pressure blast to increase output for a fraction of the cost of finishing a new well, shale well refracturing. Refracturing is an operation designed to re-stimulate a well after an initial period of production, and can restore well productivity to near original or even higher rates of production as well as extend the productive life of a well. Refracking can be something of a booster shot for producers, a quick increase in output for a fraction of the cost of developing a new well. While refracturing has never really gone mainstream, the technique is seeing higher adoption as drilling technology improves, aging oil fields erode output, and companies try to do more with less. Fracking has been controversial due to concerns about its potential impact on the environment, such as water contamination, air pollution, and seismic activity. Fracking in the United States has seen a decline in recent years for several reasons, including: overall, the decline in fracking is likely a combination of factors, with economic factors playing a particularly important role. Global energy reliability concerns are triggering a surge in oil and gas investments. After Russia invaded Ukraine, expected investments in fossil fuels in 2022 and 2023 surged by $140 billion, Rystad Energy Research shows. But, what do you think? Please hit the like button and leave us a comment below. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. Please share this video on social media. Thank you for watching.